The plains of Plataea, 479 BC. For 11 days, two armies had stared each other down. On one side, 120,000 elite soldiers of the Persian Empire. On the other, 80,000 Greek soldiers, cornered and desperate. And then, in the early morning mist, Mardonius saw what he had been waiting for. The Greek alliance had broken. They were fleeing in a panic. Persia's dream of conquering Europe, the dream of avenging their defeat at Salamis, was about to be realized. Mardonius raised his sword, roaring the last command of his life. Attack! Destroy them all! Leave no one alive! The entire sea of Persian soldiers roared, charging across the shallow river, determined to crush the fleeing remnants of the Greek army. But that was not a retreat. It was the deadliest trap in ancient history. And Mardonius, in his arrogance, had led an entire empire straight into it. This is not just a story of revenge. This is the story of a mistake that gave birth to the Western world. The Battle of Plataea, the battle that shaped the world, which you may have never heard of. To understand how to constantly harass and cut off the Greek supply lines. As days passed, food ran out. And then, Mardonius delivered a fatal blow. He captured the Gargantian spring, the only source of fresh water for the entire Greek army. Despair spread. Athens had already been burned twice. Now, there was no water, no food. Their morale was on the verge of collapse. In the dead of night, the Greek generals convened. The decision was made: retreat. It sounds like a surrender, doesn't it? But behind it lay a desperate and audacious plan, if it worked. The plan was to retreat during the night to a new position, closer to a water source and more defensible. But moving 80,000 heavily armed soldiers in the dark was a nightmare. The chaos was real. Units got lost. The lines broke. As the sun rose, the scene was exactly what Mardonius had hoped for. A shattered army, split into three separate scattered groups, miles apart. That was the moment his arrogance clouded his judgment. They're fleeing. The Persian wave crashed forward, aiming straight for the smallest, most isolated group on the right flank, the Spartans. And that was when the world witnessed. They were not running. They were waiting. The Spartan shield wall, the most feared weapon of the ancient world, was ready. The Persian arrow storm rained down like a tempest useless. They bounced off the thick bronze of the shields. The Persian army charged, and they crashed into a wall of spears and steel. Rank after rank, they fell. Mardonius, watching from the rear, was stunned. His first assault had failed. In a fit of rage, he and his 1,000 immortal bodyguards charged forward, determined to break the Spartan line himself. And then, the invincible general fell. The heart of the Persian army stopped beating. That single moment of hesitation was enough. The trap had completely sprung. The center was broken. The left flank was enveloped. The attack turned into a rout. The pursuit turned into a massacre. The Persians fled back to their wooden stockade, where they thought they would be safe. But today, that fortress became their own mass grave. Nearly 100,000 men died that day. An entire generation of the Persian army was wiped out. But the victory at Plataea meant so much more. It didn't just end the Persian invasion. It proved something. It proved that citizen soldiers, fighting for their freedom, their families, and their own homeland, could defeat a much larger army of subjects fighting for a distant king. This victory protected the cradle of Western civilization. It created a safe space for the most radical ideas of that time to blossom: democracy, philosophy, logic, drama. Imagine a world without those things. That is the world Mardonius almost created. Today, farmers in Plataea still plow up arrowheads and broken spear fragments. Silent pieces of metal, but they tell a grand story about how courage, intelligence, and unity can change the course of history. And about how sometimes the arrogance of just one man can destroy an entire empire. In your opinion, was Mardonius's mistake the most foolish military blunder in history? Or do you know of another story that is even more incredible? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you love stories that change the world, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching.